guys, and welcome back to another episode of Simply Keto. And today we're going to be looking at intermittent fasting. We're not going to be getting inside the nitty-gritty science of it all, and that's really just for my benefit so that I don't sound like an idiot in front of you guys when I'm mispronouncing all these chemical reactions happening inside your body. And let's be honest here, you're not here to learn about the science, you're here to learn about why you would want to do intermittent fasting and some of the general wellness that it'll bring to your life. So let's get right into it. What is fasting? Fasting is simple. You're basically not going to be eating for a large period of time and you give yourself a smaller period of time to eat. A lot of people will choose to eat for 6 hours at a time, and for the other 18 hours at a time, they're not going to be eating. All they're going to be doing is they'll be drinking water, drinking tea, drinking coffee. With tea, you want to be careful because some teas like David's tea, they're going to be putting a lot of hidden sugars inside it, and it'll activate some things inside your body, your metabolism, which will ruin your fast. It's not a big deal if you have 1 cup of David's tea without knowing. You just continue your fast as is, and the next day don't do it. So that's what fasting is. You're going to be eating for a small amount of time, a bigger amount of time of not eating. You're going to be letting your body repair itself and have all these wonderful things happening to it. Talking about wonderful things, the biggest reason why people would want to do intermittent fasting is really to control their insulin. So there's 2 things that can happen with insulin. You can become insulin sensitive or you can become insulin resistant. Now the resistant one is really the bad one. You don't want that. What happens is that your insulin levels will start to skyrocket because you need to produce more and more insulin to take the carbs that are excess in your body and to shove them inside the fat cells so that you don't die. That's insulin's main reason for existing. I believe, I'm not sure, so don't mark my words for that, but that's one of the things that insulin will do. It takes the excess carbs, shoves it inside your fat cells, keeps you alive. When you're resistant, you need more and more of that insulin to take care of the same amount of carbs. The problem with this is that there's no end to it. You get more and more resistant. This is a bad thing. Eventually, it can cause death. It can cause before death so many problems, so you really want to have more sensitivity to insulin. By fasting, you increase your insulin sensitivity, so you need less insulin produced to take care of the same amount of carbs that you're ingesting. That's really one of the main benefits. It's really the reason why I do fasting myself. I really want to control my insulin. Thankfully, I'm not diabetic. I'm not type 2 diabetic. I don't need to really tightly regulate this, and I know that if I keep doing this intermittent fasting with my ketogenic diet, my insulin levels will be a-okay. So I just came back from doing a 48-hour fast, and to be honest with you, it wasn't that hard. Especially the first 24 hours were quite easy. I was never hungry for that first 24 hours. The reason why I wasn't hungry is because I'm already fat adapted. Being in ketosis, your body already knows how to dig deep inside your fat cells and use them for energy instead of having to rely on carbs, on sugars, on all these simple things that you shove inside your mouth. So my body is already used to using its fat as energy. The first 24 hours were a breeze. Never felt hungry. I drank a lot of coffee, black of course. I drank a lot more water than I usually would. And honestly, no problems whatsoever. Where the problems started coming in, they started creeping in, was once I woke up after the first day, so around the 30-something hours, I wasn't hungry, so to say, but my brain was telling me I was hungry. My brain knew what was waiting for me in the fridge and knew the flavors that were inside that fridge. That's where it got hard. I had to fight my brain mentally. I had to fight it off, and that's really what you're going to be doing, especially if you're not in ketosis and you're going to be practicing intermittent fasting. You're going to have to be fighting off these feelings of wanting to eat and really do it for as long as you can. Afterwards you eat, and every day you just increase the period of not eating until you get to the amount of hours that you don't want to eat. And I'm telling you, it'll get easier. The first few days, they're going to be hard. Eventually, your body gets used to it. Your ghrelin levels, your leptin levels, everything starts to regulate. Ghrelin is the hormone that'll tell your body, hey, I'm hungry, shove some food in my mouth. Leptin is the hormone that tells you, hey, I'm full, stop feeding me. So by doing intermittent fasting, your leptin sensitivity, again, that word, sensitivity, is very good. Your leptin sensitivity starts to go up. You need less leptin in your body to tell you, hey, I'm full, stop eating. Very good for your body. This is going to help you lose weight. That's pretty much the only reason you guys are here. and it'll do a bunch of wonderful things for you. Now, the more controversial aspect of intermittent fasting would be how much human growth hormones your body will produce. Autophagy, does autophagy happen? What is autophagy? Autophagy is the breakdown of bad cells to create new cells. Think of it this way: your car, your brakes, they're great at the beginning, but eventually they start getting tired, they start getting used up, and you need to replace it with brand new brakes. Autophagy does that, but it does that for your cells. So your broken cells, your cells that are working a little slower, that there's a little bit of lag with them, what it'll do is that it'll break it down, use that energy, and create a brand new cell that works 100% fine, hopefully. So autophagy, a lot of people think that it happens within 24 hours or at 18 hours, but to be completely honest with you, I do believe it starts only at around the 48-hour mark, and I mean this in a way that it's the most pronounced at the 48-hour mark. So before that, it will happen as well, just in smaller amounts, and at the 18-hour mark, it's probably in trace amounts. Everybody's a little bit different. Your body will work differently, and it'll happen at different times of the day, but there's no little magic man inside you that says 18 hours, press that button, push down the lever, and turn the wheel, and autophagy happens. It doesn't work that way. It's just, think of it as a benefit that will happen maybe if you do it long enough, but there's so many other great benefits from intermittent fasting that it's still worthy to do it for 12 hours like I do every day. Now with me, I got a little paper over here with a little bit more details on what it could do for you. Now, I don't really care much about these, and I'm not going to take the time to memorize them. That's why I have them written down on these papers, because it'll happen no matter what. Even if you're not thinking about it, it'll happen. So I don't care much about this. But it'll help you to lose weight naturally. It'll reduce your insulin resistance, lowering your risk of type 2 diabetes, like I had mentioned earlier on. You reduce your oxidative stress and the inflammation in the body. Now this is important. Inflammation is linked with a lot of chronic disease. Autophagy, like I mentioned before, will happen. When does it happen? Who knows? How much does it happen? Who cares? It just happens. You get to prevent Alzheimer's disease by reducing the inflammation inside your brain. Now, Alzheimer's is one of those diseases that we don't yet understand fully, and we do believe that inflammation inside the brain is one of the main factors on why people get it and why it gets worse and worse. That and the fact that glucose starts to not be used properly by the brain as energy, and that's where all the bad symptoms come from. People will replace it with ketones by being ketogenic. It'll help their Alzheimer's, it'll help their dementia a little bit, but we still don't have really an effective way of not only reducing it, but we have no way of stopping it, of reversing it for now. But at least it'll help prevent it, hopefully. All these things will make you live longer, but to be honest with you guys, I don't think anybody cares much about living longer. What we care about is having washboard abs. We want to look good. We want to have that summer bod. Summer is just around the corner. And if all these great things happen to your body while you're intermittent fasting, well, good for you. Pretty much. That's pretty much all it is. That's what intermittent fasting is. You're doing it for yourself. You're not doing it to impress somebody and you're saying, I'm fasting every day for 24 hours for a whole month straight. Nobody cares. Do it for you. Change the hours for the way that works best for your life. I eat at 8 a.m. and then I eat at 8 p.m. If I want to switch it up, I'll eat at 6 a.m. and then I'll eat at 6 p.m. But you might want to have a 18-hour window of not eating, a 16-hour, 15, 14. You're going to be deciding that yourself. With that being said, have fun guys, experiment, and I'll see you guys next time.